Hello and welcome to the podcast. Today, what I want us to tackle is I want us to have a different way of looking at website traffic because lots of us who are self employed, who are business owners, we have websites that we're trying to use to promote our business. We're investing a lot into SEO. Some of us look at the number of people who visit the website and they think that we have a problem. Let me repeat. Some people look at only the number of people hitting a website and they think that's the problem. That's why they're not making any sales. Now, the reason why we're looking at this today is because there's a client of mine who has a website, and on average, he's getting on average, 16 visits to the websites. So, to the website, sorry. So there's some people who are going to assume that the reason why sales is poor is because the guy is only getting 15 hits every single week. Sorry, is it 15? More like 17 hits every single week. Now, of course, sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down. Sometimes it might be 50, sometimes it might be 100, sometimes it might be 12, sometimes it might be 2. But you take that figure, you average it out, he's getting about 16, 17 every single week. Now, some people think that 17 visits to the website alone a week is the reason why people are having bad sales. So, that's one thing that we're going to look at today. Can we say low website traffic is the reason why you are making bad sales? Now, if this is your first time listening to the podcast, my name is Tavershima. I'm a former lawyer turned business consultant. And what I do over here is I solve business problems, especially from a sales perspective, because sales covers a multitude of sins. Now, if you want to ask questions about your business, there are some issues with your website. You don't know, you don't know if your website is you don't know what to think. Is my website working properly? Can it be working better? Can it help me close more sales? Then reach out. You can call, send me a text message or a WhatsApp message on 080-6466-2140. Now, don't be afraid if I sound expensive. I'm reasonably priced. And don't be afraid about the money. I don't try and collect money from absolutely every single person. I answer questions for free. Just let me know that you want to ask a question for free, and we can have that conversation. But I will only answer one question. If we need to investigate, we need to probe further, then yes, we'll need to set aside time, set aside hours, set aside days, set aside weeks, set aside months so that we can tackle the question. But for now, you can call me, send me a text message or WhatsApp message safely on 080-6466-2140, and I will answer your questions. So now back to the root thing that we're discussing today. So, you have a website, on average, you're only getting 16, 17 people a month. Can that be the reason why you're getting poor sales? Unfortunately, that is not the whole picture. The fact that you're only getting on average of 16, 17 people per week in itself is not a sign of a problem. There's a bigger problem here. The bigger problem is this, that of the 15 to 17 people who show up every single week, not one of them is taking the next step. Not one of them is sending a text message. Not one of them is sending an email. Not one of them is trying to make a phone call. So that is the main problem. The reason why I'm making today's podcast episode is just so that you business owners know and can figure out where the real problem is. So we shouldn't just be looking at numbers alone, but we should also be looking at conversions. Conversions are the number of people who take the next step whenever they jam you. So if you like growing your business by networking, conversions would be you go to a networking session, you collect your 100 business cards, you try to build relationships with 100 of them, but maybe only 20 of them, are people who start flowing with you. So your conversions are that for every single networking session you go to, you meet 100 people, but from that 100 people, you only get 20 useful contacts. So that's what I mean by conversions, taking the next step. Now, the reason why we have to look at conversions is because if you don't solve the issue around conversions and you try and solve a traffic problem, you will just be multiplying zero for yourself. Let me repeat. If you do not cure the underlying conversion problem and you try and solve the traffic issue, let's send more people to the website, you will be multiplying zero for yourself. This is how it works. So you have a website, 17 people are visiting every single week. And over the last year, of the 17 people that come every single week, no single one person clicks on contact us, clicks on send text message, clicks on send email, clicks on inquire, nothing. Okay. Your conversion now, on average, for the last year is 0. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you that if by some magic you're able to get 1,000 people to go to that website, guess what will happen? It will still be 0. Because for now, it looks as if your targeting is off, your messaging is off. That people come to the site because they're curious about something or because they have a certain kind of problem. And so far, your website is not answering that question. Your website is not solving that problem. Your website is not getting them interested in probing further, in continuing the conversation. So, if on average, right now, conversion is 0, once you increase the traffic and you get 1,000 people to come, guess what? It will still be 0. If you get 1,000,000 people to come, guess what? Chances are it will still be 0 because we have an underlying problem. The problem is we're not getting any conversions. So you've solved the SEO problem so that people are finding your website through Google or through whichever strategies that you're employing. But then the website is not answering questions that are key to your potential customers. Your website is not anyway, it's a targeting problem or it's a messaging problem. So either the targeting is wrong, we're sending our website to people who do not have the problem that we solve with our product or our service. People who are not interested in our product or our service. The targeting might be off or the messaging could be off. So people are interested in our product or our service. They get to the website, but the messaging is off. And so it doesn't inspire them to read more, to learn more, or to dig in deeper. So, summary, what I'm trying to say is the number of people who hit your website is not necessarily the problem. So if you have a website and only 17 people came last week, only 17 people come this week, only 17 people come next week, that's not the problem. The problem is that of the people who are coming, no matter how big or no matter how small, you're not getting any conversions. Now, look at it this way. Let's say you have a business and you're only getting 3 people to come to your website every single week. But of those 3 people, 4 of those 3 people, 2 of them on average send a message to say, how far? Are you available? When are you free? How much? Do you deliver to Sokoto? Do you deliver to Kano? Does it also cause this? Does it also do that? Do you also address this? Now, in that case, we have a good thing we're working with. If on average, 4 people are coming every single week, and on average, 2 people are sending email, sending text message, sending WhatsApp, sending whatever, clicking on book a call, click on book a time, whatever. In this case, our conversions are, what's that? Is that 50%? Yeah, 50% conversions. Now, in that case, you now know that if you find a way to send good traffic, 100 people, you will now know that 50 people out of the 100 will take the next step. So, for now, in the early days in your business, don't be worried that only 17 people are showing up in the beginning. Don't be worried. As beginners, we must always start somewhere. So don't worry. Let's look at the conversions. And let's try and figure out exactly what the main problems are. We fix that first. Then after that, we solve the traffic concerns. So for the person who is only receiving 4 visitors to the website every single week, but 2 visitors take the next step, good. For that kind of person, yeah, we can go all out and see how we can get much more qualified traffic to the website. When I say qualified traffic, I mean a targeted audience, an audience who is actually hungry for our product or our service or interested in our product or our service, because you don't just send everybody for the sake of sending everybody. So, for instance, those of you who listen to the podcast regularly, you know that I don't like fish. In fact, I react violently to catfish, and my brother reacts violently to every single kind of fish. So, if you are a fishmonger and you're doing your best to drive traffic to your site, if you send me or you send my brother to your website, you are wasting your time. No conversion. On the other hand, and don't ask me how this happens, it just happens. So I react to fish, my brother reacts to fish. For some reason, we married the two women in Nigeria who happen to be the biggest fish lovers in the world. Like I said, don't ask me how it happens. On paper, it doesn't make sense. But women who love fish ended up marrying brothers who don't like fish. Now, if you're able to send them to the website, you will see high conversion. Because if my wife goes on that kind of fish website and she sees that, they have octopus, they have calamari, they have squid, they have this, she will now call my sister-in-law and she's like, babe, see what I've just found. Can you imagine? Blah, 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 blah. Oh, should we try it? Then they'll place order. Quick. So it's not just about the kind of traffic, but it's not just about the size of the traffic, but whether you're sending qualified traffic. So that's the reason why I'm making today's episode. So it's not just as simple as only 17 people, we have a problem. The bigger problem is of the 17 that are coming, how many people are converting? We could have a problem with our targeting. We're reaching out to the wrong people. We could have a problem with our messaging. The right people are coming here, but the conversation where would they have on this website? The thing they correlate, they blend. The conversation no sweet. The words, the copy, the whatever, everything is not blending. That could be a problem. Then we also want to make sure that we're sending a qualified audience to the website in the first place. The people who are there should be the right people who should be there. So you don't end up sending guys to a website who cannot be bothered about fish. Meanwhile, that's if you're a fishmonger. Sorry, I think that's what you would call yourselves. Those of you who sell fish. You're fishmongers, Abby. If I'm wrong, reach out to me, 080-6466-2140. Let me know that no, we're not called fishmongers anymore. We used to be called fishmongers in the 1960s. Now it's 2026. We're called something else. So let me know, and I'll take dressing. So, so these are the kinds of issues that are involved. So like I said, you have problems in this regard, or you suspect you have problems in this regard, reach out, call me, send me a text message, send me a WhatsApp message, 080-6466-2140. I'd love to chat. And like I said, really, if you think I'm expensive, don't worry, I'm reasonably priced. But even at that, if you want to try my hand, you want to ask me one question for free, you see first whether this guy knows his onions, it's not a problem. I'm open to the challenge. I'd love to have the conversation. 080-6466-2140. But for your free session, we are only going to have one question. So think really hard and fast before you call me. All right? Because it'll be one question only. If we need to go deeper, then we'll have to schedule a session. And don't worry, I'm reasonably priced. I sound expensive, but, it's one of these things. I was born sounding expensive. It doesn't mean I am expensive. All right. So that's it for today. Thank you very much for your time and attention. So excuse me. And if this is your first time listening to the podcast, subscribe and tell other people about it as well. Let them know we have good quality stuff like this in Nigeria. We have wonderful podcasts where you can learn a whole bunch of stuff. And we now have wonderful, credible professionals in Nigeria that can help you solve your revenue problems. So thanks for listening. I'll catch you all some other time.